I want you all to close your eyes and imagine being in a beautiful forest. In this forest, there are fruits and vegetables of every kind. You hear the birds sweetly singing, the buzzing of the bees. Imagine grabbing a piece of fruit and tasting it. Now keep your eyes closed and I want you to imagine something very different. You're now in a dark and dreary land. It's desert and it's barren and flat. In the distance, you hear the wind blowing and you see people walking towards you. As they come closer, you see through what little clothes they have, their ribs, and they're starving. Now open your eyes. We have all seen ads or campaigns to help people to donate money to help these hungry people, to be able to give them the food that they need to eat. And some of us have donated to these campaigns. Some of us have just thought about it. While these organizations are doing a great job at raising awareness for these hungry people, frankly, it doesn't solve world hunger. So what's the solution? Well, the solution is permacultures. By having permacultures, the people will be able to learn how to provide food for themselves so that they can be self-sufficient. My husband and I are on a journey to be healthier and happier. And as we take this journey, we study lots of materials to learn how we can be healthier and learn how we can grow our own foods. And our current topic of study is permacultures. So now you're probably wondering what a permaculture is, how it works, how it can solve world hunger, and where you can learn more. A permaculture is a self-sustaining food forest or garden. I'm going to show you a video that will give you a little bit of information on what a permaculture can do.
Wow, it's not every day that you see a scene like this, an oasis of lush verdant green, created by nature, facilitated by good design. This is a very special scene. No maintenance, 80 years of fertility accumulated by water, designed to infiltrate into this arid landscape and create that scene. Outside, there's a hot, dry, dusty desert. In here, you couldn't believe you're in a desert. This is all green, lush and fertile and beautifully shaded and cool. Self-mulching, self-composting, soil creation. Look. Moist, crumbly. You couldn't make better soil than that. You couldn't. It's not possible. I'm going down 8 inches. Who needs compost? I feel so excited and hopeful. I feel so relieved. There are so many innocent people, little children out there suffering in dry lands, and they don't need to be. They just don't need to be. And they don't need to have these big debts to energy and consumption. This is nature facilitating its creative processes through good design. And we can teach, I could teach school children to do this. 5-year-olds, no problem at all.
So as you've seen, a permaculture is some type of forest or garden that grows and sustains itself. In a quote given by Scott London, who interviewed Bill Mollison, who is the father of permaculture, he summed up what permaculture is by the following. Permaculture, from permanent and agriculture, is an integrated design philosophy that encompasses gardening, architecture, horticulture, ecology, even money management, and community design. The basic approach is to create sustainable systems that provide for their own needs and recycle their wastes. So, how does a permaculture work? A permaculture, like I said, is eventually self-sustaining. And basically, when you set it up in a way that you integrate the kinds of plants that work well together. In a quote by Bill Mollison, he says, "Permaculture uses the natural qualities of plants and animals combined with the natural characteristics of the landscape to produce a life-supporting system for a city or a country using the smallest area possible." To design a permaculture, it takes intensive work. In this image right here, you can see this is a design of a permaculture. And there are a lot of things that you have to consider when designing a permaculture. You have to consider the landscape, where you are, the grow zone of where you are. Here's a permaculture. You have to take into consideration the space you have, the types of plants that grow well together and support each other. So, how does a permaculture help solve world hunger? So like I said, it's self-sustaining. In the church, a bishop, when families in the ward need financial assistance or need food, they go and meet with the bishop. And he doesn't just give them food and send them on their way, but he takes the time to help them come up with a plan so eventually they can provide for their own needs. He meets with the people and maybe helps them decide what expenses are unnecessary, maybe helps them find a job. And that is similar to how a permaculture will help solve world hunger. People can be taught how to grow a garden, a permaculture, a food forest that they will not have to water or eventually all they will have to do is harvest the food. They won't have to worry about watering each day, like I said. Here is an example. This picture is of the community members in Innerdale, Lazia South. And these community members have had a permaculture put into their community to help feed the vulnerable children and the orphans, as well as the community members. And these people, as you can tell, they're happy, and you can see the produce which they've been able to gain from this permaculture. So where can you learn more about a permaculture? The easiest thing to do is to go on the internet and search permaculture. You can find many videos, you can find books, websites that teach all about permacultures. One of our favorites is jefflawton.com, and he has videos that teach about permaculture. It teaches about people who have integrated permaculture into their lives in different lifestyles. And he also teaches courses on becoming a designer of permaculture. Donating to organizations that raise money for the hungry is good. But let's work together to, now that we know what permacultures are, let's work together to raise them, let's work together to solve world hunger one permaculture at a time.
In our audience, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bye.